And good evening. Welcome to City Focus. I'm Marty Olsen, your host, and as you can see, I've got my New London Whaler hat on, and there's a reason for that because I've got Mr. New London on.
Oh, without a doubt. But you know what I'm trying to say? What's really nice about it is when they said the opinions of these people represent, yes, tonight they're representing us. But you know what I like about Marty Olsen? He has carried the old tradition on of New London is a whaler. That's the person who goes after the whales, not the whale. New London's not the whale. They are the whalers, the people who tried to capture the boat, and it was a big-time situation where they would make money there. But everybody, you know, and what can I say? New London is making a resurgence. We have one sad moment to start the show, and it's really sad because this guy was a unique guy. And he was an East Lyme guy, he was a New London guy, a Fitch guy. He was really good, Marty Olsen.
Okay, well, before I do that, I just want to make sure everybody knows I've got Mike McLAUGHLin on.
Oh, yeah, they put the sign on this. They can read. Oh, yeah, they can read.
So we got Mr. New London, Mike McLAUGHLin is my guest tonight, and we've got a high-energy New London program for you. But it is sad news. The paper... Former New London High School football coach Bob Weiss passed away at the age of 92. And he coached the 1968 Whalers that was arguably the best New London team ever. I mean, there's been some other real good teams, but that 68 team, for my money, was an absolute tremendous. I mean, they were top shelf across the board, both sides of the ball. And they just murdered everybody.
Yeah, and they should have been number one in the nation, but they played, number one in the state, but they went up and they had a struggle against the NFA.
Late in the season.
Yeah, it was the last game. And then all of a sudden, one of the New Haven teams beat one of the other teams 15-0, so they became number one in the state as opposed to New London. But they only had the New Haven Register picking then. There was no
playoffs.
Yeah. So the New Haven Register picked, which is a good paper.
And they were slightly biased to the schools down there in Fairfield County and Greater New Haven.
Because what I know, how it would have been solved, maybe 15 years later, is you and I know a guy who, if he were coaching New London, would have said to that school from New Haven, New London's field is open. Let's play it tomorrow night, next Saturday. We'll see who the best is.
But Coach Weiss had a terrific career, and
at Fitch too.
Yes, he had a state championship team, and he had a running back named Joe Addison.
Yo, we interviewed him a long time ago. I thought he was Ray Charles. You know what I mean? He was up. But Coach Weiss, the other thing about him is, the first year they had the state playoffs, he won the double L.
You know, and he did a little bit of college coaching. I think his goal was to be. Move up the ranks. I mean, I think he admired Coach Lombardi, and I think that was his goal, is to achieve that level of success.
He certainly, at the levels he coached, he certainly did well.
Absolutely, but he coached at UConn. He coached at WPI.
Yep.
So he moved around a little bit, but. May he rest in peace.
Yep, Bob Weiss, thank you for what you did.
Well, for New London and Southeastern Connecticut.
Yes.
Okay, and the big news also in the Whaling City.
Now we're coming alive.
Is that Jack is back. And it's creating quite a buzz in the community.
Oh, God, I mean, people who only think they remember Jack, and people listen to that, and they hear this and they hear that. And I think the only thing Jack could have done more spectacular to help New London, other than come back as the football coach, would have been to run for mayor. But, I mean, he is such a talented individual. And when you know people are talented, and when you have stories about them that people weren't even there, but they make up and they say, and we people who know him, and I'm fortunate enough to know Jack Cochran, as you are, okay, that we were with him the night they said they were doing this or that or whatever. And like Tony D is another one with, not the Tony D you have on, excuse me, okay, the one that owns the restaurant. People say he does, but you talk about a gracious, you talk about Jack Corcoran, I'll tell you, that's the best move that New London High School has made in at least 20 years.
Well, I don't know how they managed to pull this off. I think it's ironic that one of the big players, when Jack was moved out, what, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, at least.
Was that Chris Cluett was the superintendent of schools.
Yes.
And he was very active in that, and now he's serving on the city council.
Yes. And well, see, what happens is this, okay? You have to realize results. Okay, people are blah, blah, blah. But Jack, when you look at he was a better than average football player, played tight end, they had play on a state championship team. He coached New Britain, and they only lost 3 games in New Britain. He coached Bloomfield where Dwight Feeney played, and I remember reading in Hartford Courant that Dwight Feeney's mom didn't want him to play and football, and Jack got him to play, and he made the...
Now Dwight Feeney's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for Hall of Fame. He went to Syracuse.
Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And you know, and he won games and this and that, and he made kids better people than they were. He you know, and I'll let him tell it because he's going to come on this week or next week, whenever he gets a free moment. And he's not dodging you. It's because he's got this passing league he's in where I think they're playing West Haven tonight. Every big school, you know, and what he would say the kids had to provide academically to play and everything like that. And I'll tell you, New London is fortunate. Every kid out there who wants to play football, who just doesn't think they can, but wants to play football and make the move, is going to benefit from this.
Yeah. Well, shortly after the announcement was made, Jack had a meet and greet at the high school
Yep.
at 11 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, which I went to. The public was invited, and that there was more kids there for that than I've seen playing football in New London in the last 7, 8 years.
Well, last year, I remember we did the East Lyme game on the radio, and New London couldn't have had 20 kids, and they didn't even have a huddle, they called the plays, and kids were running around at the last second to get to their spots. But that's past. All the stuff is past. What's happening now is a chance for a kid that if you want to play football, you can be trained too. And if you're a good enough student and a football player, you can go to a nice college
And play football. But even if you don't want to play football, you can still get into college.
Yes.
And some of the things, I mean, Jack stressed that at that session.
Surely.
I mean, if you guys, I think you can play and you're not going to do it in the classroom,
You're done.
You're deceiving yourself. You have to get it done in the classroom.
He finished.
There are tutors, there's study halls. We will see that you stay focused on what you're here for.
Yeah, and like when I get some free time, when I finish with the rec department in the summer, I'll be glad during the year to tutor any of Jack's kids because I've got enough college degrees that I could be a thermometer. So people don't realize that when they hear me talk all this stuff, but education is a big part of my life also, along with the sports. But you know, when I get to help a kid, I remember I had a kid who had all Fs when I first started with him, and before he finished high school, he made the National Honor Society, got a full scholarship to Catholic University, which is an international business school, not necessarily a religious school, and now has a fabulous job. So these kids, you'd be surprised what you can do when you believe in yourself. And I think Jack will help the kids believe in themselves, and they will start to win football games. But I think what will happen is just the overall tender of the games there, what's happening. No 5 o'clock, this, that, everything will just change to New London high school football is a pleasant experience.
Well, one thing he told the kids is that practice starts at 3.
Yep.
Be there at 2:45.
Of course.
And certainly don't come in after 3.
No.
And because that's a formula for failure, and he does not.
I wish
he's not tolerating that.
I wish you could talk to some of the kids that try to get the buses. But no, Jack Corcoran, okay, and you know, people can believe what they want because people believe things, okay? He's going to help New London. He's going to help the kids. And the community somehow gets prouder when he's with there. And I'm not going to go all the stuff before. And people want to call and ask about some of the stuff before, this negative, that negative. We'll be glad to talk to him, but we also will be glad to explain the positive things, because the positive things outweigh. You know what I mean? David Reed, who was the guy who played quarterback for Jack, and then he went on to play tight end in the pros, Washington Redskins, and some other team. His brother, David, was a fabulous wide receiver, ended up playing in the Super Bowl for the Baltimore. Yeah. So, I mean, these are the type of situations that you have. And anybody who wants to make a trip, go to a game. Go to a game and see how enthused the kids are. And once you get enthusiasm in kids, you can do anything. The problem with them is they just, blah, blah. But when you get them enthused, what they can do is magnificent.
Yeah, well, in the last number of years, the enthusiasm level of New London football was not very good.
No.
And it showed, and they didn't perform well. They were not disciplined, and it was it was sad to watch. I mean, Jack has lit a fire here, and
I mean, in a couple of days.
I mean, there were more kids at that meet and greet.
Yeah.
Than have been playing football in New London the last few years. Total.
And do you know what the amazing thing is? He was so inspired that he was going to get this, that he had these things planned right after he got it. I mean, you know what I mean? You just don't say, oh, I think I'll get this gym or I'll get this, and boom, boom, boom. Here it was. And it was all part of the negotiations he made. I need this, this, and this. And like I say, he has...
a coaching staff in place as well.
Oh, yeah. The, whatchamacallit, the guy who was the recreation director, Mr. Posey, said he'd love to get onto Jack's staff as a defensive end coach. So if Jack's listening tonight, or you see Jack, I'll give him Posey's number, because he has a lot of other kids that Jack can get that he may not see, okay, at different things, because we have 150 or more at the recreation camp this year, and plus there's other camps and all of the other stuff. And I think that he would help out Jack just by, you know, the communication with all the different people. But that's up to Jack. Jack knows more than I do, believe me. I very seldom say. There's only been 2 people that I ever met that knew more than me. Well, there's 3. The 3 people I met that knew more than me was Jack, Jimmy O'Neill, and you. Other than that...
Flattery can only get you so far.
Yeah.
But thank you. It's... well, it gives us something to look forward to. And one thing that he stressed at that session was that the history of New London football. Matter of fact, he asked me about that, and I took him literally at New London, and I said 1951.
Yeah.
And
they were said, Buckley, and they were Chapman Chuck. Yeah.
And he said, well, if you want to include all of New London, it goes back to the 1890s.
Yes, it does.
So we're over 100 years old of New London football. So we've got tradition, and tradition of success.
Oh, yes. I mean, and if you look at, you know, the different teams that played and where they came from, and we always, in a real far past, had to play against all these big schools from Hartford, New Haven, and stuff like that, New Britain, places like that. And now, you know, we'll see what we do, and we'll see where Jack takes us. I would say the second year the schedule will be changed dramatically, okay, to play some of these, because, you know, he enjoys that. I mean, I've been with him when he's coached in state tournament games. I've been with him, you know, when he's coached in that heated rivalry, which fell asleep for a while, NFA New London, but what used to be a heated rivalry.
Yep.
And, you know, and that's the whole situation to go at. I mean, I could tell stories about him all day, but I think that right now, rather than have other people speak all about him, he would rather speak for himself. And when you get him on there, you'll find that he is very acclimated to New London. I mean,
he's a New London guy.
He would have been thrilled to coach from the past thing. And I don't think this is the first time he ever applied for the London football coaching job. I'll just say that. But somebody was wise enough, whoever made that decision, to say, Jack, come on. And you see the turnaround in a week?
Well, and this is another thing, I mean, he pointed out to the young men and their families, and he also wanted the kids to realize that, I mean, to toe the line in the house with your parents. Don't be a wise guy. I mean, and if you want to be a wise guy, you're not going to play. But is that the season is short. They've got a very abridged
3 months
preparation. He says, we're going to be in the weight room next week, and away we go. And we have a plan laid out here that's going to get you guys prepared for game one.
I guarantee you there's a plan. And you know what I mean? And I guarantee
We're not developing it, it's developed.
Yes, and it's a successful plan that has been used before. And it's the whole situation is very simply, is our kids from New London will tackle, they will block, and they will run hard, and the passers will know how to throw to the right people. And, you know, and it's a situation, well, how can you do it? Because you just have to pay attention and do the things. And the only other thing is more important is each one of them will progress each year as a student. If you have him, if you're a sophomore now, and you have him, unless you so choose, you don't want to, you can get very good grades. And if you have good football, you can pick a school to go to. That's what people don't understand. And but we
so
will
it's out
see.
of the class. I mean, it's, it's off the field and in the classroom. I mean, this is something that I think gets lost in the shuffle. That John Q. Public doesn't see. I mean, the amount of kids that he ushers into college and.
Well, see, the thing that people will see is they will see MARTY Olsen helping with the tutoring. They will see me helping some of the kids. Okay, they'll see all kinds of different situations as will be happening. And because people in New London, when I grew up, which was way back, probably dinosaurs were on the face of the earth, but we're proud to be New Londoners. And I think Jack has the chance to make us proud again, because he's one of us. He makes mistakes, sure, we all make mistakes, but he has success, and that's who we all strive for.
Well, looking forward to it, that's for sure, and looking forward to the season and to see how he molds these young fellas, these teenagers, into young men.
Yes, and it'll be good, and I guarantee it'll be positive. They'll be, the London High School will be moving away from whatever their low-level things were to.
And one thing that you always have front and center is that we brought back one of our own.
Yes, one of our own. I say this over and over. We don't, Bob Weiss was a person we brought in from outside the labor who was extremely successful, but Bob Weiss was just successful every way. But we bring our own in. Jimmy Bunicor, we brought our own in. You know what I mean? Jackie Cochran, we brought our own in, okay? And this is the type of situation that we have. Juan Roman, when he coached, we brought one of our own in. And
and even before Bob Weiss, I mean, you had Palmer Sibilia.
Oh yeah, he was one of our own.
We had Harlan Sturgis.
One of our own.
Dom Guazzo.
Yep. Well, he wasn't from here, but he was pretty much allowed. I remember him picking me up and throwing me down the hallway one day. So when Dom Guazzo was our football coach, he was an English teacher too, and a very efficient English teacher. And he looked like Mr. Clean, if you see the commercial. Some days, when he'd be coming from practice or something, he'd have T-shirts on. The funny thing was, and he bounced me down the hallway once because I had broken my leg and I couldn't play and this and that. And I said something, about, well, you guys lost 50-0, and he didn't like that, I guess. So when I first started doing the games, one of the games we did was Montville. And Mr. Guazzo was an extremely intelligent person, too, who became the principal of Montville. So I went a little before the game, and he was not anywhere near as big as yours. I says, I want a rematch. Mr. Guazzo, he laughed. He was a very, very good man, and he cared about the kids. And you think about all of those different people that they have, and now they got a chance to restart. Not that everybody else was negative, that's not it. But now they have a chance to really become something, because New London believes in this. New London believes in Gil Vadges, the late Gil Vadges, as the baseball coach. Let's play, we can play. Jimmy O'Neill's Legion team, let's go, we can play. And all of this other different things that they have. And this is how it is. And Chop Parker's basketball team. Look at how many games. People don't realize he won like 300 games. And, it just doesn't happen when you're playing the different teams that they have. And then, but there's always a group of people. Blah, blah, blah. But you know, the people who succeed the most are the ones that overcome the negative people. You know?
But one of the things I think that we should shine a little light on here tonight, with our focus on New London, and from where you and I sit, some of the young people, not students, but young people
Yes.
who are getting into coaching at the high school level here in Southeastern Connecticut,
Yep.
and the roots are New London.
Yeah.
In some instances, you may even say that New London missed the boat by not hiring some of these folks over the course of time. But in any event, they've got
Right.
jobs and they're doing well. We can take them like one by one. I mean, I think Jimmy Bunicor Jr.
Oh, excellent job he's done. I mean, he took on this thing which you can only be hated for by making the schedule for the ECC teams and scheduling their out-of-state teams, out-of-district teams.
Yep.
You can only be hated for that because everybody wants you to win those games, and somebody, if you got to play him, you got to play him. Yeah, he has done an excellent job.
He was a football coach, and he was
Yeah.
at Ledyard. I think he started at Stonington. He went
Yeah.
to Fitch,
Yeah.
and then to Ledyard.
Yeah.
And now he's the athletic director, and he's also I'm not sure if he's the top dog with the ECC, but he certainly
Well, he's doing the
carries
schedule,
a
yeah.
big stick in the conference.
Yes, he does, and he does all that out of conference scheduling for them, and which seems like, oh well, but if you tried to do it and fill 4 games, you might fill 2. He fills the 4. You know what I mean? If you like, and so forth, and he has done an excellent job. I mean, the players, the girls coach, Chop Parker's son, who was the girls coach at Fitch, is kind of a unique situation. I didn't even know he knew how to play basketball, but Fitch girls have been doing very, very good. And he's a nice kid. He used to work in the London, one of the London youth program, London youth program, and he was a super nice
I think
kid.
he works actually for Hearing Youth Voices now
Yeah.
in town. But he's coaching at Fitch
Yeah.
with the girls, and so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No.
But between his father and his mother.
Yeah. Well, his mother used to coach some of the New London girls.
Well, she coached the softball team, and she
Yeah,
had the
of course.
volleyball
Football
team.
Yeah.
God, does she have the boys
Basketball team.
volleyball team?
I don't know, but she coached the girls basketball for a while too.
She was an assistant for a couple of years.
Yeah, and because I remember her at softball mostly. Yeah.
So, but I mean, he's CJ's been in this seat. He's a terrific guest.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Smart
CJ
kid.
went to, I forget, he went to Northeastern.
Northeastern.
Yeah, and he's a smart, very individual, you know what I mean? But he's not a show-off. He just does the things and helps people. When you learn that from his mother and father, But who else? Who else we got?
Well, also just hired permanently, or full-time, should I say, is at Fitch, the boys, is Kareem Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Another New London guy. This past season, he
Took him a long way.
did, but I mean, he was quote-unquote interim coach. And
Yeah.
they recognized the fine performance. I thought Fitch spanked New London at New London this year. New London returned the favor later in the season over there.
Mr. Romano, who was the AD at Fitch, has some New London background. He knows what he's doing. He just put interim because when you have unions and contracts and stuff like that, you got to do something, you know what I mean? But he was there for a long time.
Yeah, and I know that Chop Parker speaks exceptionally highly of Kareem as a player that he had, performed well. I believe he was on 2 state championship teams.
Surely.
Played in college, and again, I'll say he's come back home because he's in Southeastern Connecticut. Yeah. All these guys are. I mean, they could have gone anywhere and they've stayed in the region. So we got CJ and Kareem at Fitch, and I'm not sure, we discussed this on the way over here, but Dave Cornish, the head basketball coach at New London, I mean, he was a longtime assistant for Chop.
And a longtime assistant for Ralph.
That's correct. That's where he broke in.
Ralph Fugerio, excuse me, I should say his
Yes,
whole name.
well, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
to.
but the people want to know something. Yeah, and he's been a London guy. I mean, I remember one of his relatives was a minister, okay, and they had a cousin named Jimmy Cornish who played for St. Bernard's, and he didn't know where to go to school and whatever, and I had one of my buddies who coached at St. Thomas Aquinas College and just over the bridge in New York City, and he played well for him. Okay, and he's a fabulous rebounder, and he's only 6'1", but he's a tough guy. He could rebound for you, and you know, he was one of the good players too. And you know, and you think, you know, of guys who played at New London, and some of them went to other high schools and stuff like that. And there's been a group of them, but one of my favorite New London all-time athletes is. He just was unbelievable. He played basketball in New London. He made the pros. He came from Montville when Mr. Allen had the program which you came in on.
You're talking about Mr. Dunn?
Yes, yes. And what an individual as a person, okay? Because when they wanted to honor him after he had graduated from Providence, Providence, and it was at the beach, and for some reason everybody couldn't show up. So I don't know how the mayor got my number, but he called me. And he said, "Would you MC it?" I said, "Sure." Because my daughter was his biggest fan, so she wanted to sit up on the stage to at least say hi to him. And we're trying to get my grandson to play basketball there, but he was interested in cooking. But we had all these people who wanted to speak in this. I said, you know, Dunn, this is not your deal. You move to the right of the stage and just shake hands and give the kids the high and whatever it is. And that's what they want out of you. And he did that, and he'd wave to the people when they're speaking. And what a gentleman he was. And he still gives stuff to New London's kids and stuff like that, as when he was playing in the pros.
Yeah. And quite frankly, you know, I mean, I'm not sure if Chris Dunn could pick me out of a crowd. And I went to a lot of his high school games. And
He knows who you
all
are.
of his college games at Providence. I've not seen him as a pro.
Yeah.
But his professional story, I think, speaks volumes of him. I mean, he was a lottery pick with Minnesota.
Yeah.
So he was in the top 10.
Yep.
And he got hurt.
Yes.
And injuries slowed him down.
Yes.
He got traded to, I believe, Chicago, and got hurt.
Yep.
He was cut loose. He was playing in the NBL,
Yeah.
I think in Maine, but in that league, basically it's a minor league. Mm-hmm. And he worked his tail off, and you know, he got back in. I mean, I thought once he was out, it'd be tough to get
Not
back
a quitter.
in.
Not a quitter.
But the odds of getting back in were not high, and he did.
Yes, because he could do.
He got in with Utah, and then he went as a free agent to the Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers.
Because he knew how to move the ball and get the ball to people that could score. He was not as great as he was, and he scored easily 1,000 points in London and more. His job was to get the ball to other people to score. That's what made him a great pro. Because you know how many guys like that there are in the pros, like two, that want to pass the ball to the other.
He's a defensive player, too.
Yeah, and he could play some defense, and he was a good-sized guy at 6'3", and he could play. And that was the whole situation about him. But, you know, when I'm thinking about New London, I'm thinking about the article Mr. Mike DeMoro wrote the other day about all the guys from New London area or in the major leagues, or were in the major leagues. It's unbelievable. We'll get to that in another story, you know what I mean? But I think it's unbelievable. But I always think is when I watch the Major League Baseball teams now, Toronto, which is a very, very good team. They're a little slow this year, but they made a
They
big
won the World Series last year.
Yeah. Who's their pitching coach? Pete Walker from East Lyme, who played for Roger Bidwell. We ought to do a Roger Bidwell show one day. But anyhow, and the batting coach is from Avery Point, too, of the Chicago White Sox. And look at the big year they're having.
They're in first place.
Yeah, and I almost
I mean,
told...
just a few years ago, they said, I think they may have usurped the Mets for the worst record in
Yeah,
Major League Baseball
but
history. They were awful.
He was the
120-some-odd losses.
Baltimore Orioles assistant hitting coach. He came to the White Sox, and they are hitting now. And he had such a lousy first year at UConn, Avery Point. I said, he said, I said, I don't know. It's gonna be. I said, go to school, get your grades. But he played he started varsity, everything for UConn. He's a good player. Obviously, he played in the high minor leagues. I don't think he got into the majors, but he played close. And then was the batting coach of the Baltimore Orioles, and now is the head batting coach for the Chicago White Sox. And look at their first place team.
McDonald.
Johnny McDonald. Gosh, Johnny Ellis. Okay, I mean, just think of how long he played, for how many teams he played for. And, and you can name them all. And one night we're going to do them because there's so many more that we're doing injustice to by, just not mentioning them at the moment because, these are the guys that everybody knows and recognizes. But there's guys, well, Lee Elsey should have been there. If another team had drafted Lee Elsey other than the Cardinals, he'd have been in the major leagues for a long time because they were a speed team, and that just wasn't his thing. And but could he hit? I've always told a story of when the Norwich Navigators were around. The first year they were funded by they were a minor league team of the New York Yankees.
That's right.
And they said, let's do a big crowd, because they used to do big crowds anyhow. So they had a home run hitting contest, a Hall of Fame home run hitting contest.
That was during an All-Star game.
Yeah. And at Dodge Stadium.
Up in Norwich.
Yeah. So I said, okay. So Lee was just starting his radio show, the one he does now. And he said, think you can get me in there? So I said, I asked the guy, and the guy said, sure, because it would give him good publicity. So who do you think was leading? They had Mike Schmidt, they had Dave Winfield, they had Johnny Bench. Who do you think was leading at the end of the first round? Lee Elsey. So they said, you can't go any further.
You can't win this thing.
We have one, you guys win. But Lee was extremely, and I say he's extremely talented now, and I know you're on his show on occasion, and I should be on more than I am, but I've just been so busy in the mornings. But I can pick him up in the morning, but I'm not that good a driver that I can use the phone and drive at the same time. But his show is fabulous in the morning, and and you got to give him credit because he had to work to do a lot of these things. To interview some of these congressmen is not easy. To interview the authors, you better have read the book, or they had better sent you something of what they tried. And I give him all the credit in the world, and you fill in for him on occasion. So it's a good spot to be in. And now, what's he doing tonight?
He's pinch hitting for Wayne Allen Root on a national broadcast.
You don't get any bigger than that, not on radio. And that's the thing. And we wish him nothing but, because he's always been a very good, pleasant person. Has a great sense of humor and is a great guy. And him and Marty put on some show. If you're ever up at 6:30 in the morning and Marty's on, listen to both of them. Marty sometimes does it by himself.
Yeah. Well, Lee and I have a nice conversation. I enjoy going on.
Yeah. Well, you're good at this. See, this is why you do this, and this is why you do, and this is why you do the games. I mean, you have done football almost not as long as I have, but every time I'm doing a football game, we're looking for you. Okay, so you know that, and people don't have to, And this is the thing. I mean, what I'm all trying to focus here on City Focus is, yes, City of New London, yes, without a doubt, Jack Corcoran, but there's other people very close to this area that do national things too, that we should be so blessed that we have them here.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of other young men that are coaching locally as well, over at Ledyard.
Yep.
I think we already give them.
Now, we didn't give them any credit yet. We haven't got.
We haven't got over there yet. We got Jimmy Bunicore, but
yep.
Jimmy's hired these guys.
Yeah. Well.
And they're New London guys. Mike Morgan is the Ledyard girls basketball coach.
Great player.
And DJ Exum as the Ledyard's boys basketball coach. And those two guys are buddies.
Oh, yeah.
So.
You think if Morgan ever gets a good girl player, he'll let the boys have him? And no, because I've seen this, you figure, we were talking before the show about the lady that went to Iowa and is now the big talk of the women's basketball league.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she could have played boys college somewhere, maybe not Division big time A, but she could have played Division I somewhere.
But
I mean,
it's, I mean, we've got talented young people who are doing well, and they've stayed in the region. I mean,
yeah, but we need,
they could have gone anywhere, and they've
Yeah.
opted to
Yeah.
come home, so to speak.
but we need more. We need more, because this is what I think Jack Corcoran will do for us. He'll make these people eligible to come to these schools where they are and where they were, and be in the local, maybe not exactly New London, but close to it, because maybe the AD is from New London at the school, and this is what you will see, because our kids are going to make a phenomenal jump, not in football talent, yes they will, that's known, but as people and who contribute to the community and do other things is what we need.
Well, that's critical. I mean, I remember many years ago. This is back in the late '80s, early '90s. I was at a function. I was the deputy mayor at that time.
Yes.
So I would have been '89 or thereabouts.
Yep.
90.
Should be
And,
mayor now, by the way, but go ahead.
And Jim Calhoun was addressing the
Yes.
Rotary Club, and I was invited to represent the city at that function. I was sitting next to Calhoun, and that was a period when they had some terrific teams, and none of our guys were going to Connecticut, and I queried him about that, and I was disappointed because he kind of indicated that our guys hadn't hit the books quite solid enough. So, I mean, even though we may think that these athletes aren't going to school, they still got to get it done.
Yeah, you have to do it. For a school to say to give you $100,000 scholarship a year for 4 years, or then if you go there, you train. I think they're doing away with the transfer pool pretty soon, because the NCAA some rule about you only have 5 years to play within your 4
Well,
years.
they're working on it,
Yeah.
This
they'll work
name,
on it.
image, likeness, which
Yeah.
is really kind of in the transfer portal. Those two
Yeah.
things have really kind of disjointed things.
Yeah,
But in any
I mean,
event,
see, because what bothers me the most is these guys who are great athletes and bring money to the schools and other things like this, it cheapens the degree that the person who just goes to school to that school has. If you say, okay, I'm giving you the degree from this school, and you only went here for a year and a half or a year, when these other people went there for 4 years, and you went to the other school, which is much lower academically, to get your other grades, which I think is not fair to the kids who go there. Now, if the NCAA wants to keep this transfer pool, wants to just have their own degree, and this would be an NCAA degree that you've accrued, you've got all of these credits.
You've met the credit criteria,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not necessarily at a particular
Yeah.
institution.
But we'll give you a college diploma. And that's the thing. And, I would be lying if I didn't like watching these guys, and it'd be saying, but I don't really like watching a guy playing against somebody he played for the year before, and the other things like that. But I think, we have to give much as Hurley, people don't like the way he acts and how he is, and basically
He be a little petulant.
Yeah, but he had 2 first-round draft choices. 2. Think about how many colleges have 2 first-round draft choices. And that's a good thing. And his father was a marvelous coach when he was doing the prep school leagues and everything.
He was down there in New Jersey.
Yes, he was. Bobby.
Was it St. Anthony's?
Yep, and he had so many players that every college wanted to know him, because if person could play for him, there were 2 things he could do: pass school, and he could do things. The biggest one I always remember that played, and when you talk about New London, when New London played 1 year against St. Thomas Aquinas in basketball, and St. Thomas Aquinas had Rod Foster, who was the most unbelievable player I've ever seen. He went from there to UCLA.
That's right.
Okay, and then he played. But they lost to New London in overtime, because who hit the shot? The best base? Oh, God, he lives right next to Timmy Lewis.
Reardon?
Yeah, Timmy Reardon hit the shot. It's amazing. They live right next to each other. And Timmy Reardon was like a running back. He was this. He made the pros for a few games with the Eagles, because he played in a high pro level minor league team.
Well, he played at Temple.
Yeah.
and then he played
He
the
was
World
and he
Football
was the
League
quarterback.
with the Philadelphia Stars.
Yeah, but he made the Eagles for a couple of games, and he was the quarterback, and he didn't play quarterback in New London. But Timmy Reardon, yes, and he got him. He made the jump shot to win the game, and and that is amazing that he and Timmy Lewis live right next to each other. And it's so many. There's so many families and so many people in New London have made their sports that I think it's time that we do this again. I mean, and have these families where year after year the guys play and the kids play, and they have other kids a generation later and so forth like that. And you can think, I remember when you played football, you made the Hall of Fame. Your brother was bigger than you, and he was a swimmer and a basketball player.
He was not a basketball player, but he swam. But he was 2 years younger than I was.
Yeah.
But he won the national punt, pass, and kick competition when he was 12 years old.
Yeah, Rube. And that's the whole situation. What people, there's so, the family, like the Reardon family, the Lewis, because there's Jimmy Lewis, too, who played, and Freddie, who was their father, who was great in the Morgan Park League, which I always remember that as a kid, going to Morgan Park League. And I also remember when, I forget the name, he was the first recreation director in New London.
Herb Moran.
Herb Moran grabbed a hold of me and said, "Kid, come here. You live right by Corkins Park. You're keeping score." I was 12 years old for all of these men's softball games. You know what I mean? And
softball was big down there.
Oh,
in the
it
old
was.
days.
It was, and that was the day. Corkins Park was a big deal. The fire department was down there. Everything was down there, and they used to have two big softball fields down there at least. And and they used to. They played there every Sunday. The Hispanic people would play, and the rest of the week the non-Hispanic people would play. And it was unbelievable to see them, because I remember the first time I ever met Doug DeBose. He was a very, very small person. His father was playing in that softball league.
I didn't realize that. That's something.
And they were from New London, because his other brother, who is now an architect who played at UConn, Gary, that was the problem with Doug. Doug, you talk about dedicated. Doug could not play running back at Montville until he was a senior, because his brother Gary was a year ahead of him, was the running back. He played at UConn. Doug, of course, the year he made the thing, has set every record there was. Every college coach wanted him. He went to the #1 team in the nation, Nebraska. Would have won the Heisman Trophy as a senior. He was 5th as a junior and wrecked his knee. And because he had redshirted, they didn't have the rules like they have now. He couldn't play.
Yeah.
But I always remember him. He was such a joy to watch. I mean, and,
just while I'm thinking of it, Mike, I just want to do a couple of PSAs here. I think we've got. If you can put up on the screen there, we've got the upcoming New London Kiwanis
oh, yes. When is it? Because I got to give you some
golf
money.
tournament. It's on Friday, September 18th.
Oh, so I have a little time.
Seneca.
I can let the city of New London pay me. Then I can give you your check.
There you go. And that's over Shenny and Groton. And we need everything. We need players and we need sponsors.
Well,
Mike's been a sponsor for
a
long, long time.
Yeah,
And
it's funny because my grandson is in the middle of looking for a job. He had been working for Eugene O'Neill Theater, and he hopes he goes back, but they haven't decided their summer schedule yet. And so I always say to him, his name is Evans, and obviously, but I always sponsor the whole under McLAUGHLIN, Quentin McLAUGHLIN.
That's
so
right.
I said, tell them that's your name when you go to these places, and they'll either throw you out the door so fast or hide.
I always send a picture to you and his mom with that. And,
oh, she's watching tonight, and she was the most thrilled person because she had to drop me off somewhere so you could pick me off, and that Jack may be on next week, because she was the biggest Jack Cochran fan you can get. I mean, and she...
So we got that coming up, and that's a lot of fun. And it's the club's primary fundraiser for the year, which supports all of our charitable giving as well as helping us grow our scholarship endowment.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
We recently awarded 4 $3,000 scholarships.
Yeah, which is nice. And and I'm going to say this to you, a lot of times when you look at contributing to something, you think that, well, the price is overwhelming. It's that you can sponsor a hole for $100. That's
right.
And if you want to help your community, you could give $100, because that's, what, $2 a week?
That's what it is.
And, I'm not a member because I don't
You could be though, Mike.
Yeah, but I'd be lousy, but I'm not a member of any of them. Not the Elks, all that, but I just choose. And
You support the community
But I
activities.
love what they do. You follow me? I'm all for you guys at once because you'll see my name, or my grandson's name on one of the holes every year because Marty just sees me and I give him the money and here we go. It's nice.
And it's greatly appreciated, and we need players and sponsors, we need volunteers, we need prizes, so
Yep.
whatever level you feel comfortable participating and contributing, we appreciate it. And you can reach out to me or perhaps Ted Nelson or John Russell.
But it's a triple
any
header.
other club member. And
It's a triple header. John Russell, Ted Nelson, and you.
how about that, huh?
That's why it works.
And we see if we can pull this baby off.
You will.
And also, I like to each week, especially during this time of year, just give a plug to cruise night down at Ocean Beach on Monday nights.
The cars, yeah.
And that's a lot of fun. And you get free admission after 5 o'clock.
Yep.
And a lot of folks come down and display their cars. You get antique cars, you'll get muscle cars, you get motorcycles.
Yep.
It's a good social event, it's a lot of fun. And, step up, maybe get a soft serve ice cream. And,
Surely, you got to.
enjoy a night out on a Monday at the Ocean Beach Park.
And you're done by like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's a really neat, and it's funny because as I'm going down Ocean, I don't know, by where I live, all the cars are coming down like 4:30, and it's really I appreciate these guys that take these cars and do these things because, you can only think of when I was a kid, Corvettes and this and that, whatever, what I mean, and it's kind of nice what they do, and the people are very nice, and when you ask them stupid questions about their cars and all the other stuff, and they're nice, and
you might run into Mike because Mike likes to walk the boardwalk.
Yeah.
So he might be down there. You might see him.
Yeah, don't ask me about a car, but I mean, these guys that go there will tell you everything you need to know. I'm lucky that when I turn the key, it works. That's,
you and I are in the same there. But and former city councilor Michael Trinchita, he likes to walk the boardwalk.
Oh yes, he's. And
that's my point, though. You can get down there and run into folks that you know, and you'll have a good time. And
and you'll be surprised because many of the older people in New London who were former great athletes now walk the boardwalk. Okay, and they do these things. I remember I saw David Fabricant down there, who was a basketball player with Dave Connors and Billy McCarthy and Billy Foy, when they lost in the state semifinals to Calvin Murphy's team. Okay, he played for Norwalk, and they held him. Peter Giannakis also played on that team, and they held him to like 26. But some other guy who nobody knew hit 33, and the London lost. But I mean, it's kind of neat, Marty. What we would like to do, and what I think Jack Corcoran will help do, is relive New London, because New London was around in 1636 with John Winthrop Jr. He did two things. He founded the city, called it New London after London, England.
On the Thames.
Yeah, and made the river the Thames, which we call the Thames. And he also said in his thing, one thing that you state in every election, in his charter of the town, is that if you run a department, you must live in the city. Now, I'm not going to say anything about who runs what departments now, but I'm just saying how the original charter was set. Okay? Because there are some good people in and out of New London who do whatever, okay? And, but, it's amazing, because I only thought about this because I was talking to Josh Posey, the person who would like to talk to Jack Corcoran, who was the recreation director, and he lived in another town, moved to New London when he became recreation director. Because believe it or not to people, there were other recreation directors other than Tommy Major who did a great job.
Tommy's terrific. Remember, I saw him today. We were driving in different directions, and just a quick wave to say hello.
He was a great guy, great football player. He hadn't hurt his knee, he would have played somewhere in the pros. But he hurt his knee, and they couldn't fix those then. Same thing, they had a hard job fixing DeBose's knee after he hurt it in Nebraska. But Tommy was he was good. What people don't give him credit for is he was a tremendous baseball catcher too. He could catch. He was a good baseball catcher, could hit. And, and he went and did different things. His sons all played somewhat for the London. His brother played for, I think, UNH in basketball. So, I mean, they were a very big, and they still are.
Yeah. Well, Tommy's son, Tommy, was a baseball pitcher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He was, but that was the thing, because Tommy also could play baseball. Like I said, he was a great catcher. And these are the things that we would so love to bring back to tradition of New London. Okay, people go blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't care what they got to say. I can remember when Columbus Park was huge. I can remember when, and I'll get all the heat you want for this, when the Columbus statue was there. Because if he doesn't do that, nobody's here, okay? Whether he did was all right or wrong, nobody's all right or wrong. But he was, the New London High School, which was now the junior high school, Jennings, we run a camp at Jennings on over 100 young kids. Yeah. And I can't believe they're closing that place, because that's got some real unique things and stuff in there.
One thing I want to mention before we close.
Sure.
And that is this hat that I'm wearing tonight. I get an extraordinary amount of, like the hat.
Sure.
People, they don't know me from squat.
Yeah.
But they like the hat. It's well done.
The colors are great.
And I bought this at Sportees at that little strip mall there where those places.
Well, which one? I think Bill Donovan's son owns it now.
Todd's that
runs it. Yeah.
And I just let people know where I got it, so I'll have to go down there and see those guys.
What was magnificent about New London, and Coach Elder Bunicor, he liked to have the green and gold like the Packers, because the Packers are there. And we, as I want to explain to you again, is we are not the whale. People come in from our town, call us a whale, that's much, but we are the whalers. And if you don't know what a whaler is, look it up, okay? But I'm saying this is what we do, and this is what it is. And Marty promotes our city as well as anybody I've ever seen promote our city, okay? And it's good that, he takes the time to do this. It's good that he provides the information for you people, because when Jack Corcoran puts this thing together, Marty's show is going to be listened to and packed, because people are going to want to know, I want to know about New London. I want to know about New London. There's a New London focus, because we have a certain focus. It's not all negative. We don't get EB to be across the street. We don't get 3 colleges of the magnitude we have here. We don't get like the Coast Guard Academy, the only academy like that in the United States, if we're not doing something right.
That's a fact. Well, Mike, it's amazing, but our time is running out.
Well, guess what?
And I want to thank you for carving out an hour to spend with me here on City Focus. It's always a pleasure. We always have a good conversation. And folks will be back next week. I'm not sure who my guest will be, but there will be somebody sitting in that chair. I've got a bunch of feelers out, and looking forward to it. Tune in. You can call in.
Call in.
You ought to jot down this number. I know it's been up on the screen there, but 860-445-7499. And there you go. And you can contribute and participate on City Focus, and we'd like to hear what you have to say.
And you'll get to talk to Jack Corcoran real soon.
I hope so. All right, folks, thank you. Good night, and we'll see you next week on City Focus.